It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from By the Horns Brewing Company, and this is a can of their Jiddler's Tipple. It's a quencher, a cold IPA, coming in at 5.5% ABV. We've had so many different hazy styles of beer and we've had hazy beer now for, it's been popular. Hazy IPAs, New England IPAs, Vermont style IPAs, they've been popular now for about 5 or 6 years. And there's been a few beers or a few beer styles that have come out to try and topple or try and be the next best thing when it comes to hazy IPA. In 2019, we had the Brute IPA. Can everybody remember the Brute IPA? I never really liked it. It was weird. Very dry tasting style of IPA, kind of almost sapping all of your, making your mouth very dry when you were drinking. I thought that's just weird. This cold IPA, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert when it comes to cold IPA. It's a relatively new style of beer. I know that it involves cold storage, but then that's kind of it when it comes to my knowledge. We've had mountain IPAs over the last couple of years. I liked the mountain IPA, I thought it was very good. The mountain IPA was a hazy style of beer, a hazy style of IPA, but with bitterness on the back end and not just overly soft and juicy. There was some bitterness there as well. I quite liked that. So cold IPA. Maybe I should have done some research. The problem is, if I go and do some research, I'm just standing here memorising something that I've read off the internet, and the review will always seem cardboard-like a cardboard cutout talking. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about beer. This is not what this channel is all about. It's more about trying a beer, enjoying it, and telling you guys whether it's worth buying or not. So, one finger white head, small levels of carbonation as the beer, as the carbonation chases the beer up the head, look, and it's hazy, golden amber in colour. Let's get the aroma on this one then. Now, I did research once on cold IPA, and I think, for me, this has got like a lager background to it. It's almost like it's been lagered, it's been stored a little bit. You definitely get that sense of maybe some Pilsner malt in here. But it smells very dry, very spicy and dry, peppery like. But fruity, there's some grapefruit in there and some lemon, some orange peel. It smells good, it smells really good. Let's dive in. Cheers everybody. Oh, that is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Stone the Crows. Stone the Crows. What a beer. Oh, that is everything I like about beer. It's juicy. It's refreshing. There's a little bit of tart that's coming through. It's spicy and peppery and bitter on the back end. Oh, that has got a bit of everything about it. A bit of everything. It's crisp, dry and refreshing. Oh, that's good. That is really good. If this is the future of IPA, then I'm not going to complain too much. Carbonation pushes the beer round the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. I tell you what this reminds me of in its original form. St Austell's Proper Job. When St Austell first brought out Proper Job, 2010, something like that. Well, I tried it in 2010. It might have been out a few years before that. But I remember this dry, spicy, grapefruit-like, bold beer. Really lovely, bold beer. It was terrific. This reminds me of that. This reminds me of the original Proper Job. Oh, and I really like it. I really like that. It's going back to that kind of lager aspect of the beer. I know I talked about cold storage with the beer. It's part of the kind of uniqueness of a cold IPA is its kind of cold storage, and that's very similar to kind of lager, isn't it? If you think of the old Czech, German, Polish breweries, where I went to a brewery in Poland where they dug out the side of a mountain, dug a lake next to that dugout side of the mountain, and when the lake froze in the winter, because they had no means of refrigeration back then, they used to cut ice blocks out of the lake, put them in the side of this mountain, and they used to keep the beer really chilled and cold. The lagers that they were producing were literally lagered in the side of a mountain. It was just, the effort back then to brew was fantastic. And we're talking about 200 years ago this was going on. Can you imagine now? Can you imagine right now somebody coming along and saying, right, see that mountain there? I want to dig a massive hole in the side of it, and then I want to dig a massive lake next to it. Can you imagine the environmentalists? They'd be like, oh my goodness me, you can't do that. There's worms in that mountain. There's worms in that mountain. You can't dig out that mountain. But we all know that modern breweries, with all of the electricity that they're using to cool their beer anyway, if you're just digging out the side of a mountain and filling it with massive blocks of ice, then what's the most environmentally kind of friendly? As long as they built houses with those blooming bits of rock that they pulled out the mountain, then kind of hey ho, isn't it? Do you like crisp, refreshing beer with plenty of hop aroma and flavour? Well then, this collab between By the Horns and Jiddler's Tipple is the beer for you. So Jiddler's Tipple is a brewery. I didn't see the X in the middle. With enough hops to knock out a moose, a cold IPA delivers IPA hop intensity while keeping the malt character restrained and ultra crisp. This is partly helped by fermenting with a lager yeast, there we go, and conditioning until super clean. We've layered Nelson Sauvin, Eldorado and Simcoe hops to give you oodles of fruity goodness. Gooseberry, melon, pineapple and plenty of tropical citrus and stone fruit flavours. We hope you enjoy this dry, refreshing, fruity delight. Cheers. It's so good. That is such a good beer. Such a good beer. I don't know too much about Jiddler's Tipple, but the fact that they've got a beer into Sainsbury's, as By the Horns have done as well, is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I like this. I really like it. I like the concept of cold IPA because I'm really enjoying my lagers at the moment. Lager yeast then. So crispy, fruity and refreshing. For me, that's the best cold IPA I've had up to date. That is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.